Several months back, I did an Instagram post about how we were trying to go more minimalist and get rid of all of this extra clutter that we had around our house. And that was a huge transformation for my life, just for how we function as a family in our home. I basically went through the whole house, took stuff off the walls, got rid of a bunch of extra furniture that was taking up a lot of space. Like in our living room, we took out our coffee table, our end tables. We put down a giant rug, which has been great because the kids play on the floor all the time now, and we can pull out their card tracks easily, and they can scatter toys all over the living room, and it's great. So after taking pretty much all of my decorations down, I realized I like to have more walls blank and open and not have something on every single section of my walls. And so we started brainstorming for some minimalist ideas for decorating, and my sister Jana actually pulled up a picture of something. She's like, this is really cool. It was pictures of like 3 kids on separate canvases, and really cool, creative, and simple. So I decided, hey, let's go for it. Like, we have nothing on our living room walls essentially, so this would be cool. It'd be like one big thing. With these giant canvases, you can literally freeze time, and these will be keepsakes for years to come. So what we did, I'm going to show them to you first. In our living room, hanging above our couch. They're not exactly centered because this is an old home, and of course I like measured from the ceiling down, and that kind of threw things off because the ceiling's not exactly level. But yeah, we love them, and it's such a statement piece in our home. Love having this in our living room. It's like the first thing you see when you walk in the door, and just nice, simple decoration. Found about as wide of a blanket as we had on hand, took that, and we draped it over the back of a chair. And we got where we had some good like outdoor window light shining in. And so we lined that up there, put a kid right here in front of it, took some pictures, well, realistically more like took 100 pictures, and then I'll show you how we edited it. So I used the Lightroom app, and I imported the raw picture, turned it black and white, and then I used the selective tool to crop around their heads and blow out the background like a full exposure so you wouldn't see that texture on the blanket since it wasn't really a solid blanket behind them. I thought about framing them, but then I didn't really want that haze or that glare that glass gives, and so I thought canvas would be the way to go. So I went online and I searched like cheap canvas prints, and one of the first websites that I clicked on was easycanvasprints.com. I knew I wanted them to be big, like almost life size, and so I went with 24 by 36 inch canvases. It's always good to look for the sales, and so they were having a great sale, and I got them for about $30 a canvas, which is still, so that wasn't super cheap, but I chose to not upgrade anything, like didn't get a thicker canvas or anything, didn't add a frame because that would like cost $60 extra for each canvas or something crazy like that. So I was like, frame shouldn't be that difficult, I could probably do it. I have like an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8, I don't actually know which one it is. So not like the newest camera or anything, but the pictures turned out great. When I opened the box and saw the canvases, I was so excited. They were amazing, like even better than I thought they would be. And so then came the process of just building the frame. So I went to Lowe's and went to their trim section and got like 1x2, I think it's 1x2 boards. I went ahead and took the measurements that I would need for the frame in advance. And since I didn't have a saw on hand and I didn't want to go over and borrow Jana's, I just had the guys there at Lowe's cut the boards for me to the dimensions that I needed. Then I picked a stain, and that actually took a little while. I wasn't sure exactly what shade of stain I wanted to go for. I thought I would go for something a little bit darker, but then always test the stain because you never know how it will react with your specific wood type. Like those little samples that you see there next to the stain cans are like, I don't know what that is, like oak wood or something. Like it's different kind of wood. I was buying like cheaper like pine or something, and so the stain reacts totally different to that. So after I bought the trim boards and had them cut, I said, hey, will you hold this here for me? I took a scrap of that wood and took it to the stain section, and a guy there tested out like probably 5 or 6 different stains. We were trying to find the right shade, and I finally decided on one that I liked more than the others. So before I went to the hardware store, I thought I really liked the tone of the mantle on our fireplace, which is cedar. So I took a picture of that with a canvas up against it, and I was thinking I would try to sort of match that tone. After testing out a ton of different stains, this is this color that I settled on, and it is this Early American Max, and it's a small little jar. It was probably less than $5 for that, so I was really excited because I didn't really need that much stain. I probably only used like maybe a fifth of this jar to stain all 3 frames. I just used a basic brush that I had left over from some other job that I was doing before. So when I got home, I took the boards outside, stained them, let them dry for a day. So for the structure of the frame, I looked at some different frames online, and I didn't actually finish mine out, as you can see. The first piece of trim, I set the canvas on the ground, and I put a piece of wood on the side and a piece of wood on top, and I screwed here first. I did pre-drill all of my holes so the wood would not split. So I screwed that here, put on the other side, screwed that on. I used 10 screws to hold this thing together, 4 to hold the wood to itself, 4 to screw directly into the wood that's on the back of the canvas. So this screw goes down into the canvas. And then it was gaping just a tad here in the side, so I went ahead and screwed here on both sides and about midway down. So it's pretty basic frame construction. I didn't countersink my screws or fill them or anything, but from where they hang on the wall, you really can't tell because the screws are on the top and bottom, so unless you're just like looking for screws on the bottom side of the picture frame, you're not really gonna know. The only thing left to do was to add a sawtooth bracket to the back of each frame and yeah, hanging hardware. These really aren't that heavy. I mean, the wood is super lightweight and the canvas hardly weighs anything at all. So I didn't need probably as heavy duty of hardware as I got, but I went ahead and got like the ones that hold like 20 pounds or something like that. When putting in those orders, I tried to make that their dimensions within the frame were about equal to their size right now. So Spurgeon, I made him a little taller, Henry a little shorter, Ivy even way shorter. I think her dimensions might be just a little bit off because her thighs look about as big as Henry's. Although, you know what? I think her thighs probably are bigger than Henry's because she is like a very good eater and she weighs nearly 20 pounds at 6 months. So I just love how this captures each of their personalities so well. And these are truly keepsakes. And even if they're not always in our living room forever and ever, we'll hang them in some part of our house on display, I'm sure, for the rest of our lives. This turned out to be such a super simple, easy project, and it really is a statement piece in our living room, and we love it.